Hi, and welcome back. In this brief video, we will explore Haire as a case study for how you can change your management model and drive innovation and organizational success. In their book, Humanocracy, Gary Hamel and Michele Zanini extensively cover Haire as one of their key case studies. I highly recommend that book to you. What makes Haire so interesting is that it's not the traditional tech company from the west coast of the US. It is an older organization, it is based out of China, and they're not a traditional software or tech company. They build white appliances, like dishwashers, washing machines, and fridges. Haire changed their management model over many years. They did a lot of experimentation to get to where they are today. This was not one of those 1 or 2 year initiatives where they followed 3 specific steps laid out by one of the big consultancies in the world. They actually built their own management model. That management model is built on 3 key foundations or beliefs. First, turn every employee into an entrepreneur. Second, build zero distance between employees and users or customers. And third, break down the organization into multiple nodes that are all part of the same system. Haire coins this approach Rendanheyi, which is a mashup of Chinese characters, meaning value creation for customers and value creation for employees. Those 2 things are closely coupled to each other. When you compare this to what we see in a lot of Western organizations where shareholders come first, customers second, and maybe employees third, this is a very big difference. This puts employees at the forefront of management's focus. The Rendanheyi model departs from the traditional bureaucratic model in 7 different ways. Let's start to explore them one by one. Let's start with the first one, shifting from a traditional business monolith to many micro-enterprises. What does that mean? Instead of an organization of about 50,000 people, Haire consists of many, maybe thousands of micro-enterprises. Some of them 8 people, some of them 80 people. But each of those micro-enterprises have a clear direction and much more ownership and responsibility. Number 2 is shifting from incremental goals to leading targets. This is one of those areas where Haire has done tremendous work. Instead of going and setting, for example, growth goals, like we need to grow by 10% or 12% this year, they come in and set so-called leading targets. The way they identify those targets is very different, and the way they look at those targets, not only on a yearly basis, but much more in terms of trajectory, is also very different to what most organizations do. Number 3, moving from internal monopolies to internal contracting. What does that mean? If we look at most organizations, departments like finance, HR, controlling, compliance, legal, each of them is a monopoly. Each of them can become an impediment to the product development organization, to the innovation happening within the org. At Haire, each of those departments, again, is broken down into micro-enterprises. So if one HR micro-enterprise is not delivering, all the other nodes can select another HR team and work with them. They can even go beyond and outside of Haire and work with subcontractors or other organizations that deliver better services. These internal contracts drive innovation in each of those traditional monopolies at a much higher pace and result in much better delivery capability of the overall organization. Number 4 is a shift from top-down coordination to voluntary coordination. So compared to most organizations where from the top, starting with the CEO, everyone would give orders to the next level below them, at Haire, they put up new initiatives, new ideas, and micro-enterprises or teams select those ideas. They pull those ideas into their micro-enterprise and work on them voluntarily. Number 5, from not invented here syndrome to open innovation. Who has not experienced this in their organization? anything that comes from the outside is considered as, oh yeah, they can do this in software, but we as a truck company, we can't do that. At Haire, they embrace open innovation. They learn from whatever organization is out there. They experiment with all of those new things, which again results in them becoming so much more inventive and achieving tremendous results. This leads us to number 6, from innovation phobia at many large organizations to internal venturing. Haire has become so good at innovation that they basically became their own investment or venture capital fund. They have supported and invested in ideas that their own employees came up with, that their own micro-enterprises came up with. Those internal ventures have created over $2 billion in value for the organization as a whole. This leads us to the 7th and final point, from employees to owners. Every single employee has a significant stake, and through this upside, being part of a specific micro-enterprise. Each of those employees really acts like an entrepreneur, like an owner. They come to work feeling the responsibility and the empowerment of doing great stuff, of delivering superior customer experiences and innovation. You can see with these 7 things, Haire has created a completely different culture, and we will explore this later in our organization. But it is the management model that has been innovated, not a specific type of product. And that change in the management model, which Haire's CEO, Zhang Ruimin, refers to as letting everyone become their own CEO, makes all the difference in the world for this organization. I am not referencing these case studies as a blueprint for your organization. What I want is that you take a moment and really think about what this kind of change in terms of the management model could mean for your organization, where you could make specific changes, and be aware it will always take years until you're able to basically get the results. See you in our next video.